I think you guys forgot about us already.
My goodness, yes, probably. Because I kind of forgot about us for a little
I ain't
minute
gonna lie,
there.
bro. It's been a process. It's been a
It's
minute.
been a little minute. But how long? Probably 2-3 weeks now?
3 weeks, I think, bro.
Horrible. This will never happen again.
I think you guys can understand, though. We've had some stuff, and as we
Yeah.
go through this show, we'll tell you what some stuff we're dealing with.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
Let's-
how you guys doing, man?
Yeah, let's start. Let's start on that good note. I hope everyone who's watching right now, our listeners, whether you're daily, weekly, monthly, or every now and then, or you just caught up, on this. I would really hope that you've been acclimating to the circumstances of what we're going through so far. I hope that you found your routine, you found some sort of peace within everything that's happening. Because to be honest with you, man, like shit getting real out here now again.
And we're gonna go back to
Yeah.
So
To it again. You
to
know what I mean?
the unspeakable.
Yeah. So try to start on a positive note, but let's talk about what we've been through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think George can definitely have some stories for us.
Yeah.
But to give you the premise, we're gonna be talking about it, and while we're talking about it, we didn't mention to you guys that this next episode will be a little bit of a coffee tasting. This is kind of a new thing we want to add on to I'm Down, which is we visibly show you us being I'm Down.
Yeah.
George hate, and I think hate is like it falls too short.
Yeah.
But George can't stand the taste of coffee. He thinks it
Yeah.
tastes disgusting. So what we've done today is we've gotten a couple different kind of coffees and just giving him a spectrum of things. We have in 3 of these coffees we use the same coffee bean because what we want to show to you guys is that even the same coffee bean can produce different results based on how you use it. And one of them we used an espresso capsule, so that's kind of like the easy way out. I don't know if you can see the cup, but you're gonna see George tasting and you're gonna see his reflection and his actions. And while we do that, I'm gonna ask him some questions because I think out of both of us, George has had the most interesting of the last couple of weeks. And so,
God.
but ultimately, what I want to show you guys is that we really do, believe this and live this I'm Down idea of we are down for new experiences, whether our predisposition is a negative one.
Yeah.
We still want to prove to you guys that this life is beautiful and is worth living, and use something you always say is taste. Because we don't know what you're ultimately gonna enjoy. There's things that I would have never enjoyed 10 years ago that now I do, like for example black no sugar coffee, which I think is like a beautiful complexion of flavor. And that goes in different things, not just in coffee. So subtlety, if you guys understand what the message is about, but we're gonna talk about that too for sure.
Facts.
But let's get George started on some of his coffees, and we're gonna ask him some questions as he drink some of his coffee.
For sure.
We're gonna start with Nespresso because I think that's the easiest out. You guys know an espresso machine, you get a little capsule, get some water, press the button. Nespresso produces a very consistent coffee. This is a level 5 out of 10, so it's a very middle, like not too soft, not too strong. Let's think what George thinks about this.
All right, so it does smell good. I smelled it before. Like when you first made it. Okay, let me go for it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so. All right, so for one, it's gotten cold because we did make this a little while back.
Yeah, we're trying to prepare.
This one's still pretty warm. It's not my favorite right now because it's very bitter. So the taste I got right now is very bitter. I have that coffee taste, which is the thing about the coffee taste with me, right? I've realized that like when it's in ice cream form or something like that, I don't mind it. I guess because it's very sugary,
yeah.
Right? Like see, in this specific case right now, it's just very bitter for me. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I will say this though. I like to drink scotch and all that. So there is now that I'm trying, I'm like, damn, there's a similar taste to it. And I guess I'm putting that together with like other people's experiences. When most people taste scotch, it's like it's nasty. I don't know how you drink that, but certain ones, you have that wheat, you have that barley, you have that real like musky. I guess I don't even know how to describe it. Taste. This kind of gave me those kind of vibes. It's like very bitter, but it still has that coffee undertone. So it's like you kind of have to really like coffee. And like I guess is what you say. I would have to really drink this for me to like actually be like, all right, I can actually.
I can appreciate something besides the first taste.
Exactly.
Right. And obviously Nespresso is a very consistent coffee.
Yeah.
It's very reliable. Like you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Right. But there is no real science to it
Yeah.
because the machine does all the work. Like, just get the capsule you like,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
press the button and let the machine do.
And let it, okay.
The other 3 coffees all come. We used a
Mm.
medium roast, a Pete's coffee, which I actually like.
Yeah.
You know, if you're like a super barista, you're gonna be like, Chris, you don't know nothing, which is true. I'm learning.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, it's a very reliable coffee. It's a medium roast, not too light, not too dark. We have a drip, we have a double espresso, and we have and this is where like the white girl in us works. This is for you, Karen. All right, we have a lavender oat latte.
He said Karen. For all the Karens of the world, you know, lavender drinking bastards.
This is you, because this is me, Karen. Like, when I want to go into
God.
that like very like cocktailish coffee,
Yeah.
lavender oat latte is my way to go.
All day?
I love it. I
Okay,
love it.
Okay.
I think it has a lot of flavor. I think it's sweet
Yeah.
and enjoyable. But we're gonna start
Okay.
with you getting some Pellegrino. I'm gonna ask you a question, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna get you another thing.
Okay.
So
let's go
George,
for it.
tell us about what was the most exciting thing that happened to you these last 3 weeks. A big part of why we haven't recorded, guys.
Okay, so basically for me, it started off with some shoulder pain, right? Me thinking, you know, okay, this is probably like a little impingement, a little, you know, a little, just a little pressed in there. You know what I'm saying? A couple of like, you know, mobility movements will get me right back to shape. That's what I thought, right? So we were on the trip about 2 weeks ago, and you know, I get into the gym and there on that Saturday, and I think that's where like the pain really started, right? So like I get into the gym, and probably like the next couple of days after that, just the pain grew, right? So I had an intense pain in my shoulder. I'm talking about like level 10 for me. Like I fractured my arm 3 times, shattered bones in my wrist, and the pain of that doesn't even come close to the pain of my shoulder. Like it was, because even like, okay, so the pain of that, of a broken bone, is even like if you just leave it still for a little bit, the pain goes away. Like
Yeah,
you
have
feel
a
it.
rest moment.
Exactly. With the shoulder, there's no like right now. Currently, it's hurting right now.
It's
So
like
I'm
a tingling
fighting.
pain.
Yeah, I'm just fighting through the pain like constantly every single day. So, is because of that I have to constantly be like, cause I'm on meds too, and the meds ain't making me feel at my best. So
And this is a guy who doesn't even believe in Tylenol.
Yes,
so
I
want to give you guys that idea.
Yeah,
of
I hate
he
taking.
has to take the med.
Yeah, like I have to. Yeah, cause it's just, you know, other things transpired against me through that week. Just to talk a little bit of it. It started with the shoulder pain. That Wednesday that I went to the doctor for the shoulder pain, they did the X-rays, all that stuff. You know, they say, oh, you have an aggravated rotator cuff tendon. You know, you need a rest. You need to take this medication, right? So it's an anti-inflammatory, right? That same morning though, I woke up with a rash, right? So you probably see, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, I got a small rash in my arm. It started off in my thumb and my knuckle, and right around here, my bicep, right? First, like, signs, just red. I woke up with it. I'm like, what the heck is this, right? So I started putting on, antibiotic cream on there on my own. And throughout, like, probably, like, the next couple days, it just got so bad. It flared up. It got disgusting. I ended up finding out I got shingles. So, essentially, shingles is adult chickenpox. It gets into the nerve system of wherever it lies in. It's usually just one side of the body. You know, some people's the right side, some people's the left side, right? So for me, it got on the left. So it just so happened that the arm I got shingles on also is the shoulder that's in pain. So I've been dealing with just nonstop, constant pins and knives. Just
Can I make a parenthesis?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
To all of you guys who are Hispanic, our parents lied to us.
Yes.
Because our parents, and I know your parents told you the same thing. They told you that if you have that little, this from the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
And it means that you got chickenpox when you were little, you won't get shingles.
Yeah.
Shingles. Apparently, you can, because George
can.
got both.
Yes. And so I did have chickenpox when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So I never got chickenpox when I was a kid. I got the vaccine for it, all that stuff. According to my mom, of course. I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I'm assuming she is. But, so I got all my vaccines. And yeah, man, somehow, some way, my ass still woke up with shingles, bro. So that's why we probably haven't been, as doing this as much. Because to be honest with you, and I want to take this time now, that like, one of the challenges for me, and this will be like my on down moment, which I'm coming to early. Actually, I don't want to come too early. I'll come to at the end, right? But I will say this though, like me personally, I've been having mentally to kind of like battle every day to try to be a little bit more positive or try to be a little bit more better, just because I'm offset by the pain. Like I wake up and I'm already in a bad mood because of the pain.
Yeah,
you get
of
me?
course.
So I have to consciously be like, all right, like, let's try to get some heat on this, let's try to get the pain out, so I could like try to, go about my day and try to like not be as, what I'm saying?
As aggressive because of the pain.
Exactly.
And obviously, I think you've hit a very important part of America. So while I talk about this part of America, Let's have George try the drip. Drip
Let's go
is
with
your
drip.
regular, whether your machine, most of my machines are drip coffee.
Yeah.
So it's in this case we did it with a pour over method. So we got brown filter, we got the coffee, we let it bloom, right, and then we poured out the hot water on top.
Yeah.
And so that's a very clean flavor. You'll notice there's a very distinction from espresso because it's a very clean, very middle ground flavor, I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so you'll be able to enjoy the beans.
So you'll say it's lighter than the
espresso? Yeah, I think it's less flavor. I think it's more smooth.
Gotcha. And this is just straight black.
Just straight black drip, no sugar, because I know you don't drink sugar, first of all. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So
and,
why talk about America?
Yeah, and so a lot of America, and this is one of the big issues, right?
Yeah.
Like marijuana, medicine, right? Because a lot of America is hurting. And at least in your case, you'll know you have a future in the sense of like, you can do that.
And that's a good job. It is actually not as bad though. Probably I probably lean towards this because this is like this but with milk, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah. So I'm probably gonna lean towards this more because I'm like, this doesn't taste as aggressive.
It's a very clean, very smooth flavor.
Yes,
definitely.
that's exactly how it tastes. It tastes clean. It tastes smooth. I almost want to put like a semita in there real quick and just
that's
eat
exactly
it.
That will give you that. Like if you're Honduran or if you're Hispanic, that's the kind of coffee you normally add a little bit of milk to, a little bit of sugar, and you put bread in.
Yeah.
Right, sweet bread.
Yeah, not bad.
And so that's the
That
drip.
was not bad.
Right. But to kind of give you guys some other talks while we talk about coffee as well is the idea of people are enduring pain in America, and some of that pain cannot be relieved. Like it's gonna be for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
Like when you think about like the cataracts, or you think about different things.
Yeah.
And so medicine, right, including this like new age of medicine, which is like weed and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes as doctors, your responsibility, if you cannot cure, is to ease the pain.
Yeah.
Right. And I know where you stand on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm always conflicted about that with my faith.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, am I supposed to care about the patient? Or am I supposed to ignore the patient's pain because of faith?
Gotcha.
Right? Because I believe that Jesus would want to ease the pain too.
Yeah, of course.
And so there's the dichotomy of that.
Yeah.
But what would you say to somebody like me that's struggling with that narrative?
I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing is that it comes through, and I'll say this like it's I don't want to say generational passed down thing, but it is something that's taught, right? So you will look at it, and again, so I don't go off the wrong topic. You're trying to go more along the lines of like weed, for example.
Yeah,
right? Weed
like
for
I'm talking about
pain,
something clean. I'm not talking about like Xans. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
because we all know we have a pharmaceutical problem in America.
For
right?
sure.
And we have people overdosing on these over the counter medicines, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about like what about some of these clean alternatives?
Yeah. So I will say this. So I do understand the struggle, right? Because for one, so for one, the Bible doesn't talk about weed directly, right? It doesn't say for
thou shalt not smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't say something specific as that, right? And not to just take weed, right? Because there's more approaches to this, but weed is probably one of the most, like, the biggest ones, right? When it comes to pain, you'll see a lot of athletes say, like, yo, I'd rather smoke than be on the opioids because, the side effects is nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I would say I would agree with a lot of those methods because, to your side, it's true, man. Like, when it comes to your faith, you are thinking about, I guess you almost thinking about rules, you get me? And like things that you're not supposed to do, right? Or things that you're not supposed to do to offend God or certain things that like within yourself that, let me stay away from. But I think a lot of that comes because like, it could be just like fleshly pleasures, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just want to drink to get drunk. Some people just want to smoke to get high and like get rid of their day, you know what I'm saying? I think, when it comes to certain things, it's not necessarily bad. For example, you can have CBD, which comes from marijuana products, right? It doesn't give you the high, right? But it does
gives you the other results,
pain.
the tension.
Exactly. And, if you get raw CBD, of course, if you start messing with other stuff that's probably not natural, that might be a different
route.
That's
synthetic stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But, you mess with, like, raw CBD, you will feel like, for one, your pain gets alleviated. You know what I mean? Your joints just feel better. You know what I'm saying? And you're not walking around with that pain, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have negative side effects, you know what I'm saying? For one, these pills, like, we're talking about, they burn the lining of your stomach, you know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of people start to get kidney stones and stuff like that. The side effects
and a bunch of other stuff.
Exactly. Like, those things are not good for you. I mean, like, even when it comes to, like, the side effects, right? Like, for me, like, what I've been feeling with a lot of the pills, because I'm on 2 type of pills right now, right? I'm taking antibiotics, so 3 times a day, and then I'm taking something called naxoproxen, something like that. That's an anti-inflammatory, right? That's supposed to help with the pain and reduce inflammation, in other words, right? So obviously during that time you don't drink alcohol, because alcohol directly will inflammate your entire body. You get me?
And it will counteract the medicine.
Exactly. So you don't want to be quote unquote too mixed with that. You have to watch out with certain foods that you eat, right? Like you can't be with an empty stomach taking medication, because that's gonna mess you up too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of these like give and takes with these wow. There's a lot of give and take with these pills and stuff like that messes you up in the long run. You know what I'm saying? And like again, when you get to like the higher level of opioids and all that stuff, it messes up with you.
For sure.
So I feel like when it comes down to like we're willing to take these pills and stuff that gives you these side effects anyways. Some make you high anyways. You get me? I don't think that there's a if there's an issue, right, of faith there, when you're saying, well, you can take a Percocet, let's say, right, and you're gonna feel high, but it's prescribed by a doctor and the pain will go away. Well, why can't you smoke weed then? You're gonna feel the same effects. You're gonna be high too, just like you will be on the perks.
And if a doctor prescribed it, what is the difference?
Exactly
right?
what I'm saying. The only thing is that probably like your family or
like
people around you are gonna be like, bro, but like, why don't you just take pills? Why are you smoking weed? Like, now you're high. Now it's like, yeah, but guess what? I would have been high as hell too if I would have been on the other opioids or any other medicine, and it's really messing you up a lot more.
Yeah, you create a dependency of it.
That could be the case. But I mean, like, as far as side effects, man, like, those side effects are the hardest things to deal with, because I can only imagine someone who has to take pills constantly. You know what I'm saying? Like every time. So I think that's a battle there. You know what I'm saying? There's a give and take. I mean, I think if you want to go the ultimate route, you want to look for anything that works for you. Like in especially when it comes to injuries like this, you want something that works for you and that you can still continue living your day. You get me? If pills it does that for you and you're not tripping, okay, fine. You get me? But I think that the stigma of marijuana is just like, oh, well, those are just potheads just smoking and whatever. Yeah, but people build these addictions to pill pop and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say that to justify it, because I feel like when we say, well, you're smoking weed, you're potheads or whatever, and somebody says, well, yeah, but you're popping pills and stuff like that, it does the same thing. You're kind of being dismissive, just like the Black Lives Matter, right? It's like, oh, well, police brutality, and like, well, black on black crime, right? You're being dismissive of certain things. So I don't want to be dismissive, but what I am saying is that I just feel like the more natural route, the better things are going to be for you, right? Now, again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really speak on this, but to the spiritual sense, I think that we need to leave room for the conversation there. You know what I'm saying? To have a conversation there, because if a doctor prescribes to me some form of marijuana product, then it's okay.
Yeah, it no longer it stops being a sin.
Exactly.
But
now if
the hypocrisy of it.
Exactly. But now if I go to like my local drug dealer to get marijuana because my shoulder's like killing me, then people are gonna be like, well, I don't think you should do that. That doesn't seem like
But in reality, you're supporting small businesses.
You are supporting small business. There we go. That's the bright side. You know what I'm saying? And again, I just think that that I understand the struggle, but you got to weigh in the options, because like these chemicals that you're taking in, you got to understand a big part of this is just you being brainwashed at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in America where, pharmaceutical companies reign. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay for you to take an Advil when your head hurts. You get me? But nobody ever even talks about just the foods in general that you're eating on a day-to-day that's causing a lot of these ongoing pains, these ongoing problems. You get me? A lot of the foods that you eat on a daily basis, you shouldn't even be putting that in your body to begin with. You get me?
You'll end up in diabetes or high cholesterol or high sugar content, whatever.
Exactly. So I mean, I think that when it comes down to like, when we talk about the Bible or God's way, right, or that version, I think that a lot of it has to do with what you put in your body as well. You get me? Because people talk about like just drugs in general as like, nah, that's bad. Like, you shouldn't even do that. Yeah, but we gotta realize like drugs food can also be a drug also. You get me? There's people that are addicted to fast food, like people that have to have McDonald's every day, eat McDonald's and Burger King every day. You know what I'm saying? Those things are also bad for your body at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But again, because we live in America and the culture that we live in, we don't talk about a lot of these things that we just kind of just like brush off. Like,
we kind of pick and choose.
Exactly, and that's wrong. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When it comes down, I mean, I had a CBD oil rubbed on my shoulder, and that's done. Like, for me, that's felt way better than me taking these pills, because at least, I put that on, I put some ice on it, and it just feels way better than just like me, you know what I'm saying, just popping this pill, because I popped the pill already, and I still my pain is still there, you know what I'm saying, and it's still going. So it's one of those things that it's a give and take thing. Like, you got to really understand. I think intention matters when it comes to these things. I don't think that, like, if you're going to, like, let's say smoke weed because that's your preference or whatever, for a certain pain, your intention isn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this just to get fucked up, that's a bad intention. But if you're really doing it because I'm really trying to manage this pain, then I don't really see and necessarily anything wrong with it. Again, that would be like your relationship with God too, because you know whatever you feel in your heart.
And it's a conversation. And
exactly.
I think ultimately you hit a nail. The conversation with your fellow person, a conversation with God too. You know, I think as Christian we always say, oh, it's not a religion, it's a relationship.
Yeah.
So ultimately, have the conversation with the Lord and see where He answers.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take this conversation somewhere because you hit it out on the nail, and I think it's pressing in our times. Will be foolish not to address it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you take a shot of this espresso.
Yes.
This is Pete's now. This is not an espresso.
Yeah.
And see what you get out of flavor, because before all these coffees get cold. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're getting into this Black Lives Matter movement. All right.
Not as bad.
No.
It's pretty good. Again, because it's not hot. It's probably like
you appreciate the flavor more, but
it goes warm for sure.
Black Lives Matter, guys. I think George says something that is insightful. And you're gonna get that one too, because I'm probably gonna finish that with latte but he says something about differentiating between the matters at hand, right? The issues at hand.
Yeah.
How because we say Black Lives Matter, we're not saying blue lives don't matter.
Yeah.
And because we say Black Lives Matter, we don't necessarily approve of the organization itself, right? Like as Christians specifically, if you look at the organization, the way it came about, it goes against a lot of the Christian values, right?
Got you.
But I'm not supporting, so I'm not supporting the organization. For example, the organization, a lot of Christians will tell you, it's very liberal. It was out of the gay community, a couple people that birthed it. So you know all of this arguments I've been hearing throughout the last couple of weeks, right? So I'm not trying to dive into those arguments. I think you've heard them enough.
Yeah.
I want to dive into the idea of why Black Lives Matter, because apparently people don't seem to get that.
Yeah.
So you know your take and my take is not as valuable in this moment. I'm very conscious of that, because you know we don't have the black experience.
We're not black men.
Yeah.
No.
You know, we don't want to take away from that focus, but we do, you know, believe in this show and believe that if there's 5 of you listening, we want you to hear our heart on this matter too, right? Yeah. You know, so we are very clear. Black lives do matter. Yeah. And you who are going to say, but what about black on black crime? Let me get all those out of the way before, you know, you address this. Yeah. Hispanics kill most Hispanics. Whites kill most whites. Blacks will kill most blacks. Why? It's proximity, right? I have more chances of killing George than I have of killing Barack Obama. Why?
Because we're right
next to each other. Does that mean I hate George? No. It just means the statistics and probability is I will probably have more of a possibility of killing you, whether willingly or unwillingly, than I have of killing somebody who I'm far away from. Yes. So in a black neighborhood, who's more likely to kill you? A black person. In a Hispanic neighborhood, who's more likely to kill you? A Hispanic person. So let's get all the the irrational thinking, because that's what it is. It's irrational, emotional thinking. And let's be pragmatic, right? Let's be, let's be reasonable. Let's hear each other out. Let's not be dismissive, right? Because if so many people are telling you, hey, I'm hurting, there's a part of our compassionate self that should be like, hold up. Why are you hurting? Yeah. Right? So give me your take on this Black Matters movement, on the protest, on the looting, on everything.
Yeah, so I had this about 4-hour debate on Friday, I want to say, or Thursday. I believe it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. I was having this 4-hour debate with a friend, and we got into a debate because his opinion was it's pointless for you to be protesting, right? And he was like, it's pointless because it's not getting anything done. You get me? It's nothing's happening, right? There's nothing new happening, right? And he was coming from a point of the powers that be or the powers that reign that we don't ever get to see, right? Meaning the conspiracy theories of the trillionaire families controlling everything, right? And I understood his point, right? But he was very passionate about how, you sure go protest, whatever, but it's just not making a difference.
It's not going to change nothing.
And, we got into this long debate because I was like, look, man, protesting works. It matters. You get me? And the reason it matters is because it's causing changes. You don't realize it, right? One thing that we talked about was if you don't learn your history, then you're
bound to repeat it.
Exactly. So I told him, look, man, you got to realize, right now, you even though you're a Hispanic man, you are still a black man. Your skin color is black. You know what I'm saying? You will identify to people as, he's moreno. If you're Hispanic, whatever they're going to call you. But point is, you're black. You are still considered a black man regardless of it. And I explained to him, I was like, look, these protests are going on right now. It's for the future. You got to understand that right now, they're not going to just come out of nowhere and be like, okay, you know what? Yes, everybody changed their minds. change this and we're gonna switch 100 because yeah, sure, there is no more slavery going on, right? There is no more segregation going on. That is obvious, right? That is like by law, right? Because before it's by law, if you're a black person, you cannot sit in a white
separate
person.
By equal or
Exactly,
whatever, right?
Exactly. There's no laws no more. So people think because there's no more written laws that's it. It doesn't matter. But the things that people forget is that this entire world, every business, everything is ran by people. People like. Again, people can be controlled, people can be manipulated, but at the end of the day, it's still people. So if people have a mentality, whether you remove the law or not, it doesn't matter because it's about how people treat other people. So what's happening right now is not this super obvious law, right? That's going on. Which, by the way, there are certain laws that are still in place that you might not even be aware.
Implicitly racist.
Exactly. That are super racist that still haven't been abolished, right? But besides that, the whole point here is that we're trying, with the whole process and everything, people are trying to bring awareness, for one, to the fact that, there is still a racist stigma out here. People still have this mentality of racism. I mean, bro, I speak with people, right, especially like older Hispanic people, and they say things that leave me like so amazed because they don't recognize their own racism. Like they don't even realize it, right? So I was talking with somebody and they're like, I had a black friend. I'm not racist, I had a black friend, which that's everybody's line. I'm not racist, I have a black friend. As if like having a black friend could like justify, like, look, you can have a girlfriend and still hate women. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you still be misogynistic.
Exactly. So it doesn't change whether you have a black friend or not, whether you're not racist.
I have a mom. I can't be misogynistic.
Exactly. Like no, man. Like you can be whatever person and whatever you choose to be, no matter what your circumstance is. So that whole like, oh no, I'm not racist, I have black friends, but get that shit out of there. Cause that's the number one thing that's like, bro, come on, bro. Like that's it's one of those things that you're just trying to like get a card real quick. Like oh, I'm pretending. Exactly. So let's get that shit out the way, right? Number one thing, people still have this stigma, right? This Hispanic people, where it's like, well, like for a black person, like this very decent person, like for a black person, you look very nice.
Yeah, the worst part is that it's like, oh, you're very good looking for a black person.
Exactly.
What?
All these microaggressions that like people don't like. People aren't even self-aware that they're doing this. Like they're thinking like, oh well, I'm giving them a compliment. It's like, bro, no, you're not.
You're slapping them in the face.
Yes, you're basically telling them like, bro, like you're
I'm
kind.
surprised that you're good looking because I expect your kind to be ugly.
And but there's a thing that I catch everybody with, right? And trust me, but you do it to not your parents, but just any older Hispanic person that's speaking like this. And this hasn't failed me to this day, right? Because I always use this line and they look at me like, damn, right? So as next time you hear somebody say, oh no, like for a black person, that person's like, pretty decent, they act nice, they're not robbing, they're not doing this. Now, granted, for example, Honduras, right? We're talking about this. They have like a tribe, right? Like Garifunas, what it's called, right? Stuff like that, right? So in Honduras, I was having this conversation with my mom, right? Like in Honduras, bro, like it was especially during her time, it was almost impossible for a black person to even get an office job. They wouldn't even consider a black person for an office job. Black people were the people who robbed people and stole, came into houses, did X, Y, and Z. And you ask them why, and it's like, well, people shunned them. And I'm like, well, do you hear what you're saying? It's like, of course, you give people no choice. People need to survive in this world, right? If I come up and I ask for a job, right, because I am qualified for this job, you don't want to give it to me because of the color of my skin, well, guess what's going to continue to happen? Every time
frustration.
I need to survive. So if I go rob you, yes, as a society, you need to realize, they're not robbing you because they're black. They're robbing you because you guys have brought in your own system, have brought in this whole racism, and you guys don't even realize it yourselves. So you guys just critique them being like, oh, black people do that. No, black people don't do that. Any individual of any skin color would do that same shit.
Yeah, and eventually comes,
if you put them in that same circumstance. So that's all it comes down to. That kind of mentality, it never like people aren't even aware. So the number one line that kills people is people will say things like, oh, for a black person, you're this. For a black person, you're that. It's like, well, let me ask you something. When's the last time you said for a white person, you're like this? When's the last time you said, oh, for a Hispanic person, you look pretty good? Or for a white person, you look pretty good? Never. Because most Hispanic people, for one, like if you're not, for example, our color, you're not even identifying as black. You're identifying as white. Like, you're
white
like,
Hispanic.
Like, oh, no, you're soy blanco. You're so, because your skin isn't dark or whatever. You identify it. Again, Dominicans, we all know have this whole stigma, like Cubans, right? Like, you're Hispanic. It's like, oh, I'm not black. I'm Cuban.
Or Dominicans who are like, I'm not black. I'm Dominican.
Right, which is like, no.
Like, I'm not Haitian. Like, even shunned within the same island, right? Which is strange. But
because black has turned into this, like, this thing of like, nah, man,
Yeah.
like I can't even be associated with that. And that's the problem.
We demonize
that exactly. That's the problem, that we've come to this point where it's like, if you're considered a black person, you're considered this low class. You're considered trash. You're considered ghetto. You're considered, and that's the problem. That's the mentality that needs to change. And that's the whole point of this bringing awareness, right? Is that for one, this is gonna bring awareness to that mentality is still going on. So Timmy, that's in private school, and Sarah, that's in private school and has no access to any black people or any minorities because everyone around them in Beverly Hills is white, and they all drive Bentleys, and they all go to the same golf clubs and stuff like that. They will never understand if they're not in that environment, which they never will be. So let this right now, at least social media, you know what I'm saying, make it a thing where, you know, Sarah, who listens to Nicki Minaj, and Billy, who listens to Lil Baby or whatever, and Lil Baby comes out with a song that he's talking about racism and how he's tired. Let that be a connection. Let that be an awareness. Like, he could be like, well, damn, maybe I do have white privilege. And then you kind of sit down with that thought. And even if it doesn't spark that thought in you right now, it might later. But the point is to bring awareness to that to begin with, right? And that second point is that, yo, like you said, when we say Black Lives Matter, yeah, we're not saying blue lives don't matter. But we are saying that, yo, we've seen videos constantly. And I'm not saying that police aren't getting killed by other types of people. Mexicans, Norwegians, black people, island people, whatever. Cops get killed all the time, too. You get me? We're not going to discredit that.
And we honor their service. We appreciate the fact that you're laying down your life.
Because, you know, the thing is, too, yes. Like, we don't make it as big of a deal, right? Like, we're not out there rioting because a bunch of people are killing cops, right? We're not out there, like, all this commotion because people are out there killing cops. The thing is that you cops, and I'm speaking to cops in general, for I guess, you will know what it is to be a civilian, but at the same time, you also need to understand, right, that there is, like, this big part in life, in history, that cops have been bullies. You get me? You have this power. You have a gun. You can get away with certain things. You get me? As a cop.
Yeah, you have the law behind you.
As a cop, you could be in a red light and not want to wait for that red light, put your lights on and take the red light and continue to take all the red lights until you get home, if you wanted to get home fast enough. And whether that's wrong or right, you could do that, though. You get me? And probably get away with it. You shouldn't be above the law. But a lot of cops, we have acted above the law. We are very aware that there are civilians that act above the law all the time. That's the whole point of you guys being there, right? But again, we have seen countless times cops taking their power and shoving it in people's faces, being bullies time and time again. That's exactly why you get songs like "Fuck the Police." That's exactly why you get Tupac in the 90s talking about how if you're shooting at me, I'm gonna shoot at you too, and that's the right thing to do because. Again, there is a reputation. You get me? Yeah. There is a boys club. You know what I'm saying? When you're a cop, you get me? You don't really hear too many cops stand up and say, well, yeah, what they did was wrong. But you are going to hear a lot of cops come out and say, well, you guys shouldn't be coming after us. Again, I won't take your job for granted because you do have a job that is valuable to the community. You get me? But I do feel like there needs to bring change for this. You get me? And that's the whole point of the protest. Yeah. That maybe this doesn't happen nationwide, but it happens in your city. It happens in your district. You get me? That rules start to change. Training starts to change.
And we've seen a couple of things. Finally, these 4 officers were persecuted in the George Floyd case. We saw today, and it slips my mind what state, but they dismissed political immunity, meaning that politicians, right, and people that are supposedly above the law are no longer going to be able to excuse their actions because they have power, right? We are seeing, for example, Minnesota getting rid of the police office, the police force, right, and diverting the funds into different areas. So we are seeing some reform, and obviously all the reform we yearn for will not happen in our time. It didn't happen in MLK's time, you know. And his dream is still, I have a dream. Right, but we're closer to that fruition than we were when he was alive. Exactly, and that's because people protested. People did not conform to the ways that the system was, just because. That's how it's always been. That's the laziest, the dumbest, that's the most ignorant excuse that could ever be. That's how it's always been. That's how people have always been. We have to believe and we have to be that generation of change. We have to be the people who don't say, I'm going to stay quiet while there's an evil and a wrongdoing being done. Exactly. I personally, I honor military. My brother's in the military. I honor police officers. We know very good person specifically as a great police officer, great man, great husband, great father, you name it. He's a great person. So I honor all those people. But the justice system has failed time and time again black people.
Mhm.
You know, and let's not talk about our people still being in cages. Like we haven't ignored that. We know that's happening.
Yes.
But time and time again, historically, the justice system has failed black people, and people are fed up.
Yep.
You know, MLK, and some of you don't even know this quote, but MLK said, you know, rioting, that is the language of the unheard.
Yep.
When people are, and you said it yourself, when people are finally like, yo, enough is enough, you won't listen to me peacefully, then you're gonna have to listen to me violently.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, think about a little kid. When a little kid is like tired of saying, mommy, 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 he starts crying.
Yeah.
Because you haven't heard him. Well, this country has abandoned and ignored people for so long that all they know how to do now, you know, is acting feelings, acting anger, acting rage. And instead of trying to listen and say, what's going on here, we're demonizing them. We're dehumanizing, right?
Yes.
We're saying, you know, these are evil people. These are racists, fascists, or whatever you name the is that you're using, right? Instead of saying, these are American people who are hurting.
Yes.
Right? And I think that that's the first step. The first step is let's shut our mouths and let's listen to somebody, right? Somebody who's had the black experience.
Yeah.
Somebody who can tell you, you know, I've had to learn how to properly pronounce words so I don't get stereotyped or ignored or devalued. Somebody who tells you they have to act a certain way. Somebody who has to worry about having Skittles or having a hoodie on or sagging their pants or whatever because of the color of their skin. You know, somebody whose votes, you know, sometimes have been tarnished or have been ignored, right? Somebody who's suffered at the hands of the police because of the way they looked, and police were just apprehensive and ready to shoot before they even asked the right questions. You know, you have to learn to listen because so many people have been saying it and we haven't listened enough. You know, politicians haven't listened, social workers haven't listened, community leaders haven't listened. So now they're speaking out, and you're telling someone like LeBron James to shut up and dribble.
Yep.
You're telling, you know, all these other people just, you know.
You don't give Drew Brees the same energy.
Exactly. You're telling Kaepernick, you know, you're disrespecting the flag when in reality he's trying to bring attention and awareness to you know, something completely different. But because you are so stuck in your own mindset,
in your own privilege.
Exactly. Let's use the correct word. It is privilege. You're ignoring what they're saying. We're ignoring. Let's be honest. I've ignored. You've ignored. We've ignored. Right? Because it hasn't been in our alley.
Yeah, it's not our experience.
Exactly. And because we don't consider ourselves racist because, you know, we grew up in the hood.
Yeah,
right? But let's be honest. These people have had to act an extra mile just to be safe. Because if not, they might just die for being black.
Exactly.
And that's the sad thing. Let's have you try this while, you know, we vent a little bit more about this. That's an oat lavender latte. I think it's one of my favorite drinks. It's fire.
Yeah, this is way better. If it was warm.
If it's hot, when it's hot, it's like a very comforting drink. But guys, you know, we want you.
That tastes really good. With the oat milk, that tastes really good. Yeah, that tastes the oat milk.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's not bad, Chris. That was really fire. Yeah. A little Bailey's in there, probably be like.
Yeah, then you got your you know
what I'm saying?
But yeah, man. I'm down, and I'm down means I'm down for trying coffee, but also I'm down for conversation. We're not gonna shy away from those topics. You know, we don't have the answer to this. We want you to look up black leaders who are worthy of paying attention to, because it's not us. Let's be honest. We're not the black experience. We're not the voice. We're not that. But we want to urge you guys to educate yourselves, man. If George was telling me, man, my arm is hurting, I wouldn't say it's your fault because it's hurting. I'll say, let's go to the doctor. Yeah. If a black person is telling you, man, we're constantly, you know, racially profiled, we constantly don't get the job, we constantly ignore, we constantly falsely persecuted, we're constantly arrested, we're constantly killed, and no one's doing anything about it, then don't say it's because you did something wrong. Say, really? Tell me about that. How, you know, like,
and even in, you know, the whole conversation I was having, right? The whole connection was this, you know, if you're a black person right now, currently, right, and you feel like these riots and these protests aren't doing anything, I want to tell you why I think you're wrong, right? You need to understand your history. You need to understand that in the 50s and the 60s, where people were doing sit-ins and people were protesting, they were doing that. A lot of shit didn't change while they were doing that. They did that for years. You get me? Years people were sitting down. You get me? For days, continuously, every day on sit-ins. You get me? And you bring firemen in with big hoses, washing people out, sending a police dog on people. You get me? Oh, you can't be here. Yada, yada, yada.
Lynchings.
Exactly. All types of crazy shit, right? And these people continuously came, protested, put their lives on the line. For those of you thinking like, oh, well, these people are like dying for this, dying for that. Let me explain something to everybody right now, right? everyone is going to die. We are very much aware of this, right? The only prerequisite you need is for you to have life. So if you're watching this right now, one thing that's guaranteed for you is you're gonna die for sure one day. You get me?
Always encouraging.
For sure. And what I mean by that is that these people doing that, they stand for something. And in this life, you need to stand for something. You need to believe in something strong enough that you're willing to die for it. You know? Some people will die for their family, for their friends, for their car, for their project, for their business, because they believe in that. You get me? So these people coming in and protesting, and people are taking bullets to the eyes, old men getting shoved and pushed around, people getting sprayed on. Those people, if you're in those protests and you're there, I would imagine it's because you believe in that. You believe in what you're doing is going to bring about change, because what the people did in the 50s and the 60s brought about change today. Because you need to understand that the reason why you can walk into a store today, it doesn't matter whether you're black, white, or whatever. Again, you're not going to go and get... Now, this is a problem, because I didn't want to... I caught myself saying this. Doesn't mean you're going to go get lynched, because realistically, in the time that we live today, we realize that that's not the case. You're a black man and you walk into the wrong... You're in the wrong state and you walk into the wrong store at the wrong time, you might get lynched. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of where we are today. But the thing is that they won't happen to you in a legal matter. You get me? And to follow in the same footsteps, right, of bringing this type of awareness is like, bro, we just want people to be held responsible for the fuck-ups that they do. Just like in every job, like you were saying,
if
right?
you were a bad... Look, I say this all the time because I find it so incredible that people have a hard time reasoning this, right? If you were bad at your job, your boss would fire you.
Yes.
If I was bad at my job, my boss would fire me.
Yes.
If somebody was bad at Chick-fil-A, their boss would fire them. Because there's repercussions, right? Repercussions for inability or ineffectiveness in your job. If a bad apple, because you know this is the language you guys like using, so let me use your language. If a bad apple is bad at their job, they should be fired. And if they committed a crime, they should be persecuted with the same strength of the law that any other citizen, law-abiding or otherwise, is. Right? That's all people want. People just want real justice. Justice is not left or right. Justice is not Democrat or Republican. Justice is in the middle. It's not gray. It's not green. It's not orange. Justice is black and white.
Right.
It's what is right in every time and in every moment. And people haven't been getting justice. And you guys, we don't seem to understand that.
Exactly.
And I don't know what else we can say about that.
And there's the biggest part about that, right? Because you need to understand too, like, you wanting justice is such a small, tiny request from what you've lost to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, you as people and as a so you as a people, as a person, you know what I'm saying? You're living your life. You're out here and you see in the news, George Floyd died, Sarah Bland died. Oh my God, that's so bad. That's so this, that's so that. But guess what? You still go home and you're gonna sleep just fine, because you don't have to sleep with the pain that you just lost your mom, you just lost your sister, you just lost your cousin,
and somebody else is thinking that could be my son, that could be my daughter, that could be me.
Exactly. So the thing is, like, George Floyd's family, yeah, they want justice, and that's such a small thing to ask for what they've really lost, because what they really want is George Floyd back. But guess what? You can't get George Floyd back. So at least give me these motherfuckers here who killed this man and put them in jail and make an example of them and show every other cop that, yo, if you behave like this is what the fuck is gonna happen to you.
You're not above the law.
Exactly, because what happens is, if somebody who is racist, because let's be honest, you can be racist or you can have all these like prejudice within you, like, oh well, you know, I'm not racist, but like I won't really trust a black person, or I won't really trust this type of person, bro. You're in the same fucking mentality and boat that all these motherfuckers were in the 1800s, white men slaving over all these black people. You get me? You're in the same boat. You're in the same mentality. So don't make yourself and try to think that you're different, because you're not. You get me? So all these people want is justice. And that's such a small thing to ask for, because, again, what these protests and what these things come is it brings awareness. And if we make an example of some people that fucked up, then it shows everybody else, yo, y'all better start walking on eggshells, and y'all better start fucking around, and y'all better start taking your job real serious, because we're not fucking around. You get me?
If the system needs to change.
Exactly. And that's all that this is. You get me? That's all that we're trying to. And I don't want to say we, because there's a thing. I'm not in the lane of protesting. I'm not out there protesting. I'm not out there in the front lines. I'm not that person. My thing is that I understand though why the people are out there protesting. So I don't think it's pointless. I think that you should be out there. Now, yes, sure. Can you say, well, it won't bring about the change that you need? No, right? Because you do need people on the inside that understand you and are gonna put legislation, they're gonna put laws together that make stuff better. I understand that part too. You need that. Now, how is that aspect going to be about? Everybody plays their role. You get me? Everybody has a role to play. Like you said, we're talking about a topic that we're not necessarily experienced. I'm not a black man. You get me? I am a minority. Whether people see me as a minority or not, I don't know. You get me? That's going to be completely up to them in my experience. And you're absolutely right. I can't speak on it a lot. You get me? Because, again, I don't have the black experience. But I understand, you get me, exactly what's happening. I understand exactly where we're coming from. Because whether they're black or white, it doesn't matter. The point is, people need to be held responsible for their actions. Just like you said, it's almost like the cops is like the only job. And this is the whole Chris Rock's joke, right? Of like, Chris Rock's joke was basically, people say it's only a couple bad apples. There's only a few bad apples in the police department, so it's okay. Not all of them are bad, but then you say that's the only job where people justify that, right? Like if you have an airline, right, and their slogan was like, well, we only have a couple bad pilots.
And
would
today
you fly
get to fly with that guy.
Exactly. Like we almost always land. You wouldn't want to be in that airline. So it is exactly true. Like you said, if you're not performing well at your job, there are going to be things that are going to happen to you, my guy. You get me? This is not for you. I don't think everybody's meant to be a cop. Not everybody should be a cop. You get me? There's people with egos way too big to be a cop. You get me? So there's a lot of evaluation, and this comes back to just, again, I was talking about this today. Like, people have trauma within them that they don't understand themselves. You get me? That they haven't realized themselves, that they haven't brought out themselves. Those are problems. Those are issues. You get me? Not everybody's meant to be in that situation. I feel like if you are going to take up a mantle, right, to protect the community, to protect the society, you need to be in good mental cases.
It shouldn't just be just because I need a check and I need a job.
Exactly, and which happens in most cases. Like, I just need this job, so what I'm saying, I'll just become a cop because it's easy to become a cop. But yeah, but it's not that easy to become X, Y, and Z. That's why a lot of people aren't X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? For whatever example you want to put. But overall, all of this just brings awareness. You get me? It makes people that are dull and not understanding to understand. Even the people who are still not wanting to understand, right? There's people out there that are like, these guys are just protesting. These guys are fucking stores up. These guys are, but you gotta understand, that's how you send a big message. Because if they're just protesting and they weren't doing anything and not bothering you, then you'll be good because you're comfortable. But the minute discomfort comes, everybody wants to come and be like, oh, well, why are you doing this? No, motherfucker, because we're trying to make y'all understand that we need change.
Yeah. Even the people who just jumped on the hype, right? You name the big companies, you name whatever they're saving the PR. PR your way to $100 million donation, they'll take it. I don't care if you facade, if you pretend, $100 million donation, $200 million donation, it makes a difference towards the movement, even if you're just trying to save your PR face. Yep. And additionally, this is going to put pressure on legislature. Like, your constituents are telling you something, you either respond to them or they vote you out. This is election year. Yeah. Like, this is literally the best time, and I say this consciously what I'm saying, the best time that this could have happened. This is you want to get, that lawyer who failed, get him out. You want to get your president because he didn't, get him out. You want to get the state senator, you want to get them out, vote them out. Killer Mike said, bully them out in the voting, polls. Yeah. So take them out. Yeah. Because that's what this is all about. If we're living in this country, and honestly, in all seriousness, it is one of the best countries in the world. It is. Right? And the system has ensured that no one can be a bully for too long, whether it's a president or whether it's a senator or a congressman or whatever else you got going on.
Well, this president seems to get away with everything.
That's a different topic. Different conversation for a different day. But, it's only 8 years max, right?
Only.
But the idea is, so we just want to reroute you guys to this conversation and ask somebody their experience, ask somebody their story. Take the time to listen, take the time to reflect, and go vote. Get educated. Yep. Whether you might say, I don't know, I don't like reading. Go to YouTube, watch a video. Go, because the news are just pandering people towards whatever they want them to believe. You got to be able to look at both sides and see, okay, Fox can't always be lying. Yeah. CNN can't always be lying. Yeah. So what is it that they're saying that's true, and what is it that they're saying that is twisted? And because we need to be educated, guys. Yes. We don't want to be alarmists, right? And this is not an alarmist moment. Black people have been experiencing this for years. It's time for change.
And not to cut you off, but you know, I want to like, so we could cap this. It's gonna be another MLK thing where it's like, and I believe it goes something like an injustice anywhere is
It's
an injustice everywhere. Because you
Mhm.
need to understand, if someone can take advantage of anybody for whatever reason, whether they're a woman, a man, black, white, if they can take advantage of that, and that's exposed and that's allowed, then that's only a matter of time before the next thing comes around where it's like, oh, I'm gonna take advantage of this, I'm gonna take advantage of this, I'm gonna take advantage of this. And that's the problem. You get me? When we see injustice, we need to act. You get me? We can't just look at, oh, what benefits me and what only benefits me. No, because what benefits you right now, it may be benefiting you and you're cool with it, and you're cool with like seeing a cop fuck somebody else over, and that's fine. But it's only a matter of time before, if nobody actions that, that motherfucker's gonna do the same thing to you. You get me? And it's like gonna happen right back to you.
Is that quote? And I think we ranted enough. You guys know. But it's that quote that says, you know, first they came for, but I wasn't that.
Yeah.
Then they came for, and I wasn't that either. Then they came. It's talking about the Holocaust, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, and then they came for me, and there was no one to speak for me.
Yeah.
Because I never spoke for anybody else. You know. I think, you know, you say it all the time, it's like the human race, right? But my thing is, I think every person's life is valuable. You know, no one should die. And if they die, there should be justice.
Yes.
I think that's the minimal thing. Is like give people justice, you know, hold people accountable.
Accountability.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, you know, educate yourselves. We don't know the answer, to be honest.
Yeah.
We also don't know how well this video will age.
Yeah.
We also don't know what you're gonna say in the comments.
Yeah.
But we just want to make sure that we didn't stand on the sidelines.
Exactly.
You know, like I want to be able to look at my kids and say, I was part of the change, positive change, not negative change. I wasn't, you know, ashamed or afraid to speak my mind, even though sometimes I'm gonna be wrong. And I think YouTube is amazing because I'm gonna look back at some of his videos and be like, Chris, you were an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. But my encouragement to you guys is educate yourselves. You know, find something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And push forward.
That you stand for, that you believe in.
Yeah. You know, and that saying goes, if you're not willing to stand for something, you'll fall for everything. Right.
Exactly.
So, you know, find truth. Truth is worth always standing for, because
sure.
regardless of whether people are aware of it or not, truth is the thing that will remain when all emotion, when all feelings fade away. And so the truth in this moment is that Black Lives Matter.
Yes, absolutely. And to kind of switch a little bit, just gears, to kind of cap from what I wanted to be, what my I'm Down moment has been this week. I would say that, you know, this week has been, not this week, but just in general, you know, I would say like the last 6 weeks or so, I've been on this journey of just trying to be a better man, you know what I'm saying, and trying to really understand, because I've yeah, go ahead. I've really felt like, you know, I've come to a crossroads in my life. This is the first time that I realized I've come to a crossroads, right? Which what I mean by that is I've been given the opportunity to go ahead and get out of my comfort zone and try something else. You get me? Something that I never thought I would, something that I wouldn't normally do. You get me? And that's me being aware that I need to take that road, because I already know where this road leads to. I've experienced it. I need to experience this. You get me? I need to understand what this is. You know what I mean? I need to grasp, you know, and
explore it.
And explore, you know, this person that I'm in, I guess, communications with, you know, told me that you have all the ideas of what a certain experience could be, but you don't have the experience of it. You get me? Which got me thinking that that's so true. And I have the opportunity at hand, you know? So I say that to say that, you know, because of that, I've come to, even like now that I've been saying, like, you know, with these pills and stuff, you know, for me, it's become almost a daily thing to, okay, I know that my chemistry is not where it's supposed to be. It's off balance. My hormones are doing X, Y, and Z. So I am aware that, no, I'm not depressed or something like that. You get me? Because of something that happened to me. I'm just, my chemistry's thrown off. Because that's what I've been experiencing through these pills and stuff like that. And what I mean to say is that, like, every day for me is a decision to be positive and to be better. Because if I dwell on the things that are negative, right? Meaning, you know, whatever chemistry is going on, I'm going to stay there. You know what I mean? I'm going to feel that, and I could get lost in that like a black hole. So I said that to say, every day, you know, that you wake up, you have an option to be positive. You have a choice to be positive. You can either complain about how you were in traffic all day for an hour, Or you can say like, man, I'm glad that light turned green before I stayed there and I would have waited another 5 minutes. You get me? It's up to you to look at what's positive, and it's up to you to look at what's
half empty
negative.
or half full.
Exactly. So make that choice every day. We talk about I'm down and what we want to do, and it's just to put that positivity into the world. Because if you're a kid right now and you're younger, in your teens, and you might be looking at this, or you're even younger than that, preteen, or even younger than that, and I understand that influence comes in certain things for people. Some people can look at you and identify and like something about you, and now they feel highly influenced by you, and they will do whatever you say. You get me? Or they might listen to you more. So I would say this: if you're at that age, and whether you're older, it doesn't matter. Understand, you have the option to be positive every day, regardless of what you're going through. You get me? If you're having problems at home, it's up to you to make that thing better. You get me? You can't, a lot of times I feel like we wait for things to get better, wait for people to get better, and we don't try to get better. You get me? We wait till we want people to adapt to us, and sometimes we need to adapt to people, because when we do that, we show people a side that they would have probably never seen to begin with. You get me? We need to let people know, like, yo, guess what, bro? Like, again, like we talk a lot about this, checking people. We need to constantly check people, bro. Like, if you have somebody in your life that you truly love, that they're your homeboy, they're your homegirl, they're your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, you need to let them know, hey, look, you're fucking up. Because, like, on the parent side, parents don't know what they're doing either. Parents are human just like you. They're trying to figure their out. They're trying to figure their life out. Mind you, you're in your 20s, whatever, you're going to college, you're trying to figure out what you're about to do in life. Your parents have been doing that for years, still trying to figure out what they're going to do with their life. Still trying to figure out things here and there. Because a lot of times we just kind of like passively think, like, well, you have your job, you have your family, you're settled in. No, man. That's why midlife crisis come into play. Because shit, you don't have it figured out.
We don't know.
Exactly. So, we need to take those times to like understand where people are coming from. And when you are given those opportunities in life by God, you need to like be prepared, because that's all it is. Success, they say, success is where opportunity meets preparation, right? So you need to be prepared for those moments. You may be asking for growth. You may be asking to be a better person. Well, I hope that when the opportunity presents itself, when God gives you the opportunity, you're ready. You're just not saying you want to be a better person. You need to step up. So I feel like, part of my I'm down moment for this week has been, okay, you're on the meds, try to be better. Try to surround yourself with people that are going to make you a little bit better, going to make you feel better. Because if you're alone and you're just there, bro, you're going to be in the bush. And now, again, for the long term of this, I've gone through situations in this last month, that have shown me, like, okay, because I took this other route that I wouldn't normally take, this positivity has been happening. You know what I'm saying? Because normally, if I continue to act the way I acted, ain't shit gonna change. Ain't shit gonna get fixed. People aren't gonna realize that what they're doing is wrong. Certain people aren't gonna change. Certain people aren't gonna develop, aren't gonna evolve, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, for me personally, taking this road of trying to be better is an everyday thing, and it's gonna have to be for you too. Because whether you realize it or not, you're trying to be better. If you're going to college, you're trying to be better. If you're trying to improve at your job, you're trying to be better. If you're trying to like improve at a sport, or you're going to the gym, or you're always constantly trying to be better at something. You get me? Something that you're interested in. So take those times, take those opportunities that are given to you, and you got to be awake to realize the opportunities, because this is the first time I realized this is my crossroad. You get me? Like, if I didn't realize this was a crossroad, then I wouldn't have taken it. You get me? I would have been lost to it. So you got to like be very... Somebody was there? So you got to be very conscious of that. You get me? So for those of you who want that change, you got to start with yourself, because once you start with yourself, then you can help other people. But till then, you're not going to help no one. You're not going to help no one. So always look within yourself to, try to bring out that positivity within. That's it, bro. I dropped the mic on that one, bro.
I think you guys know what's up. If you guys think we're dumb, if you guys think we're smart, if you guys think we're insightful, or we lack any kind of wisdom, if you guys think we're funny, charming, swipe right on 10. No, I'm just kidding. My girlfriend will kill me. If you guys think...
Like that, you said that. Now my girlfriend will kill me. Don't do that, guys. Please. Like,
don't ever
girls,
do that.
Don't do it, please.
If you do find me on Tinder, that's not my profile to begin with, all right?
Somebody might have made it accidentally.
Like, on Instagram. I have a fake Instagram that I didn't make.
We're going to tell that story one day.
One day.
Maybe,
but maybe. It's like in the files, in the archives.
Yeah.
But, like, comment, retweet, follow. We do appreciate every view, every moment you guys take listening to us. We understand that your moments are valuable, your times are valuable, so we do value that. So until next time.
Yeah, until next time. Thank you, guys. Peace.